Well, hello lovely people and welcome to today's Pega card reading, inspired by the Red Hot Chili Peppers and their song Minor Thing, because as they sing, it's a minor thing and I'm a minor king. He knows everything, ooh. If you don't know it by any chance, go and listen to it. So in the spirit of that song, we will be doing a video on a situation happening in your life which is stressing you far more than it should be. Something which you are seeing as much more dramatic than it is in the grand scheme of things. And we will also look at some advice that comes up for you, or whatever wants to come up regarding that situation. So as you can see, there are 3 piles to choose from, 3 rings. Pick the one you feel the most drawn to and let's see what this, what's it called correctly, what this mountain under a molehill is for you. Well, hello pile 1. If you chose this ring guy over here with the little deers, then this is your part of the reading. Let's get into your cards and what this stressful situation seems to be for you guys. So right off the bat, because the first card that came up for you is the King of Wands over here. I feel like you are a person in general and in this situation specific that has some kind of specific vision on how you want a certain thing, namely here this situation, to pan out for you. And you have that courage and determination to go after it. But somewhere here happens a disconnect with that, where you have the vision, but it seems there was something that interfered with it somehow, maybe some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not reinforced, enforced. Enforced? Yes, forced from the outside. I'm wondering whether someone, some kind of circumstance forced your hand regarding this vision you had, which led you to a place of feeling like you are lacking some kind of choice, or all the options you have are just not optimal enough. And you know, when we want to achieve something and we don't exactly know which road to take, we can start to doubt ourselves, doubt our intuition. Like you basically get stuck at a sort of crossroad. Like I said, either because someone potentially forced you into this crossroad by not allowing you to have your to walk down the first road that you had as an inkling to go down, or again because that first round or first road was blocked, you got stuck in thinking about, okay, what would be the optimal way of doing it. And like I said, something in all of the different ways doesn't seem optimal. So you seem to be in this limbo situation where you are sitting down and contemplating, but you also might be a little bit stuck. It's gonna sound stupid, probably said this way. You are stuck in your mind, but because of emotions, you know? Because your emotions are stuck, because you feel frustrated somehow with the situation, with the lack of choice or the lack of right choice. You are just sitting there ruminating emotionally and not seeing something in this situation. And there might be a hint of worry here about potentially missing out of a window of opportunity with the reversed Four of Cups. And I see that you have this streak. Again, we have also a Knight of Swords, which is again a super determined energy, a super fast energy, a super fearless energy. it is the energy of chasing something. And we also have the Queen, which has the mind and the capabilities to think something through and to look at it objectively. But it seems these two parts of your mind are sort of clashing. Like you can see how, for instance, the Queen at the end is looking in the other direction. So there is the idea there that there is something more to discover and that you are trying to see it, that to get to that mental clarity, but the other things are sort of pulling you back. So something relay this information to whichever exactly situation causes this currently in your life, but overall there is something which you were super determined about. Something happened along the way which led you to have to choose differently, to change something strategically, to potentially wait. And this waiting energy is what's stressing you out, because you are basically afraid of missing out something. You want to chase it, you want to ride the dragon, you want to throw yourself on the motorcycle and go 150 an hour and get to your destination. But there's gonna be something here about finding a little bit of peace and mental clarity in order to get out of the stress that this is causing you, and also see it from a new perspective, from a new hill, so to say, because the Queen, she is in a high place, she is looking at the distance, and it seems that your problem right now is that you're focusing super tightly on something, like you are short-sighted on something. And I mean, it would make sense, because this is the point of this reading. We are trying to see what is stressing you way more than it should. So this is the overall energy of the situation. Let's maybe try... No, let's first pull a couple of clarifiers. Maybe something else will want to come out as well. Okay, from the second row of cards that came up as further clarifying for the situation, they definitely show a similar energy, where there seems to be some kind of disconnect you're going through with your intuition, and this is something that's happening because of the stress. You know, I've heard people say like intuition is calm and like anxiety is loud. Maybe you are feeling something similar because of this thing stressing you out, that you are even more so unable to connect with that intuition, with that rule of thumb that basically dictates for us from the inside. And this is leading to some kind of restlessness. And with restlessness, of course, sooner or later, if we don't find a way to calm down, it's just gonna burn us out. And it seems that you have a really overactive imagination, pile one, like with this guy. You can see him just daydreaming of something, absolutely not being there, being totally disconnected, being completely in your mind, thinking about something. Of course, when we are stressed, it's positive every now and again to at least try to think about something positive, so to hopefully get yourself out of the stress for a little bit so you can relax. But also, this is not something that you should strive for. It is giving me a little bit of a maybe maladaptive daydreaming type of thing, where you are thinking about some kind of point, for instance, in the future, which hasn't happened, but you are using it as a way to escape your current reality. We all do this. But if this is something that you are using in this situation to help calm yourself down, this is not necessarily helpful. Like, it's not the end of the world, but you know what I mean. Don't get carried away with it, basically. I mean, of course, it's good to remain optimistic about that point in time that's gonna come, that's gonna be felt like a bliss and an end of this stressful cycle, but it's just don't take it to the extreme, basically. And again, like with the last card, with the 9 of Wands, there is just again this sense of feeling overburdened, overwhelmed, potentially like attacked if there are other people being part of the situation. This is the overall energy of the situation. Let's now see some advice for you. Actually, let's firstly start with something that you are not seeing in this situation, and then we will get into some advice, let's say, depending on what comes out. We are gonna remain flexible. Okay, pile 1. What I'm getting, what you're not seeing in this situation, and it might sound a little bit as holy. And basic also, as holy and basic. I feel like what you're generally not seeing in this situation is that it is going to improve. First off, the cards that came up for you are giving me a strong feeling of aloneness. I feel like what you are not seeing in this situation is that this feeling of being alone and fending for yourself and like having gone through some kind of irreversible tragedy or failure of something, like something going down the drain completely and being lost forever, it is not true and is going to fly away. It is like you are going to come back to feeling normal, let's say, to feeling happy, like to a previous point where you felt in bliss and you feel like it is forever gone or something along those lines. What you're not seeing is that it's not as dramatic as it seems. It is going to get back to normal. You just need to bear with it a little bit, and you also need to show some compassion to yourself, like throw your hands up in the air, say like to hell with it, I give up or whatever, like I am letting things unfold as they want to. I'm not gonna force it, I'm just gonna let it come to me like water, like calmly and outside of your control. I genuinely think that this is something that's gonna prove really helpful for you guys. Good, then let's do one last pick of cards and see for maybe some specific advice that you need to hear. Okay, then let's get into your last advice cards. So pile 1, with your advice cards, I feel like the message that you can take to handle this situation with a little bit more grace to yourself will be through other people. With this card, I am again feeling huge piece of the puzzle being you feeling isolated. And I get that. I specifically, like when I am going through something, I am not the type of person who wishes to share with other people. I just withdraw until I feel better. And this is fine to do if this is also something that you do and that works for you. But there comes a time when it gets counterproductive, and maybe this is the time for you as well. And you generally have this energy of like potentially adulting too hard, or at least delving too hard into your worries currently, and you need to chill out somehow. I definitely think it's gonna happen through other people, potentially also through romance. Maybe it would help you to go on a couple of dates, like without any expectation or anything, just about meeting people, enjoying yourself a little bit, experiencing something new, getting out of the house. But definitely you need to balance this out, because your pile feels really heavily alone. And once you balance that out, that will also bring some kind of playfulness to your life. There is currently a lack of playfulness, maybe also a lack of creativity, spontaneity. This is something that would help you get out of this rut at least a little bit. And then, you know, when the sadness unclenches its hands from around your neck, things are going to start looking less dramatic in this situation. This will also, it will help you get to this balance. But then, of course, with emotional balance, we also are able to calm down our mind a little bit. And once our mind is calm, we are then able to use it productively to think about how we can do things differently, how we can pivot, how we can change everything. This is what I'm seeing for you guys. I hope it made sense. I was not sure how I would go exactly into this reading. Let's see what happens with the other piles. But yes, pile 1, don't worry about it. Go listen to a little bit of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and, I don't know, chill out, smoke a joint, whatever you like. Go on a date with a hot guy. Whatever is up to your needs at the moment. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this little guy over here with the shiny stone, which is not to be super seen in this light, but whatever. These are the cards for you. For you guys, I decided to pull out directly the spread and then the clarifiers. And let's get into it. Hopefully it will also make sense. Good, so let's start off with this. While I was shuffling, one card decided to flip out on me and fall down, and it was the 3 of Cups. Now, normally I don't love to take cards that just flip out because sometimes it just happens because of shuffling. But lately, in the last many months, this hasn't been the case. I have gotten better at shuffling. So it did give me the idea that maybe what your spread is gonna be about has to do with a relationship, because the 3 of Cups, like cup energy, generally has to do with like relationships, creativity, love, blah, all the watery stuff. But especially like the 3 of Cups is very relationshipy to me, also team-matey, not necessarily romantic relationship, but it could be like a third person type of romantic thingy. It came up in the upright position, so I am not necessarily inclined to look at it in a negative way as someone cheating with someone else. Based on one card, we can't get really that type of certainty. But because other relationship cards came up for you, again, I am just getting the sense that this energy that's stressing you out currently might have something to do with another person who did something here. So let's get into it and try and clarify some of the energy. So, how do I say it? With you guys, there seems to be some kind of confusion. I don't know how I called it in pile 1, but there the idea of confusion was different. It was the feeling of confusion, of having too many options in a way, of having too many things you want to do, like that type of thing. I feel like with you, this potentially relationshipy thing that stressed out this whole situation has to do with 2 specific choices needing to be made. Like, or if it's not 2 specific choices on the outside that need to be made, maybe just a sort of, is that even a word? Zweispaltigkeit. A sort of bipolarism in you. I am sorry, I can't think of a better word than something that starts with by. Basically, you are in two minds about something, and your mind is stressing you out in this situation. There is very much a feeling of being pulled in two different directions. And for instance, like this card shows you closing your eyes to them. As this card shows also you looking into something and again being tied up with your eyes closed and not wanting to deal with it. And there is an aspect of this situation which feels unfair or potentially even, what's it called? Like hypocritical. Yes, there is something with somebody here having potentially two faces, like hiding a part of themselves, this leading to some kind of confusion, this leading to stress, to a lack of clarity, and again to a lack of wanting to see something clearly and solve it. Now, whether it's a want thing or a can't thing in this situation right now, at this time point, I mean, you know, we need some time to move between realizing that we are not seeing something and that we don't want to see something. I feel like with you guys, maybe you are still not at the point where you have realized that you don't want to see something. You are still at a previous point where you just don't see it. You know, I hope that this makes sense. You know that sometimes we just don't notice something. This is the first step when you are like totally unaware of some kind of writing on the wall. And then there's the next step where you see something from your peripheral vision and a feeling of dread starts to creep up, and this is the point where you purposefully move your gaze in another direction so as to not see it. I feel like you are still in the first part of it, where something in this situation, like I said, potentially having to do with another people, or even if you say it resonates with you, two other people, something that potentially should have been a give and take situation, an equal situation where the people work together and pour simultaneously into each other's cups so they are both full at the end of the day. Something here happened not optimally. Maybe someone betrayed someone, maybe some kind of ego got in the way, maybe chasing some kind of reward or something with the reversed Six of Wands, some kind of egotistical reward or success or something. Chasing that led to either the one person acting out of character, doing something backstabby, doing something unfair potentially, and this led the situation out of balance. And you are now dealing with seeing this for what it is and overcoming it. It seems this shook things up to where you are feeling great frustration with this situation, because despite some kind of hard work with the Eight of Pentacles and all of the effort that went into it and all of the hours and so on, nothing happened. It felt like, it feels like some kind of misdirected effort and a lack of results, like we said. Yes, and the whole energy of just overall poverty and lack and not seeing a way out of it. There also seems to be something here about being unrealistic somehow in this situation, not grounded, unrealistic. Again, like the overall energy and imagery of a lot of cards has to do again with not seeing things and being a little bit carried away in imaginary realms, possibly. Again, both with the Eight of Swords, for instance, which is the last card with the tied up lady in the mirror that the other lady isn't noticing, with the Two of Swords that's being pulled in different directions, with the reversed Knight of Cups, which is very much unrealistic energy and ungrounded. And even, I would say, with the King of Wands, who in his normal upright position is like a fiery, authoritative figure who knows how to handle, how to act, how to act. There is a lack of all of this here in this situation. And this ungroundedness and lack of clarity is what is stressful right now. Good. Let's get some more cards to try and shed additional light. And let's see what's something you are not seeing, which will be an interesting question to ask in this pile of cards, which all of them talk about not seeing something and not wanting to look at something. So let's see. Okay, pile 2. To be again the as holy influence in your life. I am again getting the sense that the thing that you are stressing about and that you are also not seeing something about has to do with another person or potentially two other people and the relationship. There is definitely the message of you not seeing that you have clouded judgment at this point, which is again, I think, relaying back to the idea that I was talking about earlier, where there's the first point where we are totally unaware of the existence of something, and then the next point where we are aware a little bit, but we don't want to acknowledge it. Yeah, definitely there is clouded judgment here with you guys, and there is the potential of turning it around, but we will see about specific advice after getting into these couple of cards. With these three, with these three, I am at this point very much inclined to talk about the potential of this situation very much being relationship with probably two other people. Now, don't take it necessarily romantically if you are not, like, if you have a loving partner and everything, don't freak out about them cheating or anything. It might have been a group project that you were working on. It might be a group of friends that you're having issues with. Whatever, there is some kind of third person that is interfering here, but potentially also the second person might be problematic as well. Because with the Lovers, we have some kind of misalignment and lack of harmony, and the Lovers is about two people specifically. It sounds dumb, I know, I can't explain it any more intelligently than that. And the Lovers reversed can also be an energy of a lack of mutual feelings and some kind of connection. And because we got the Three of Cups again, and this time in the reversed position, it might be the case for you guys of experiencing some kind of third-party situation, which is confusing and clouding your judgment and which you are not completely seeing at this point. And like the Three of Swords is basically our drama and heartache card. It is again a 3, so again it could signify the presence of a third person. And with the what's it called, the Hanged Man over here, there is something about the uncomfortability of this situation, of course, but also that we need to learn to live with this state of being uncomfortable, and then we can see something new. Like, once we accept that we are going to be uncomfortable, we can kind of lay our head back and see some kind of new perspective on the world. I think that this is what you need to do at this point in this situation to get out of the drama of it, because again, there is very much right now the feeling of your judgment being clouded, like not being there at all, your side of what is happening. And potentially, if you embrace the suck for a little while, this is gonna clear things a lot for you. Let's pull some cards for advice specifically, also like and pile one, and see what advice wants to come out. Okay, pile two. With the risk of again sounding generic, the thing is that the advice for you seems to be very much in the sense of have faith that this situation will blow over and it will turn out into something much more better than it currently is. The thing is that two positive, I would even say romantic cards came up for you. We have the Lovers in the upright position this time, as well as the Knight of Cups also in the upright position. So basically, let's say the negative card that came up for you is the Five of Cups on this side, which is our crying over spilled milk card. Don't get me wrong, I cry over spilled milk all the time. It is something I love to do. And to ask myself, why didn't I do something different back in 2009? Things would not have panned out the way they did. But it is what it is. There is basically the message of needing to embrace some self-forgiveness for maybe staying in the situation for too long, or for not noticing something like a red flag, or for not listening to somebody, or for not listening to your intuition. Whatever it is that's poking at you on the inside, you have to find a way to let go of it through this act of self-forgiveness. There might have been some kind of setback. It's just a part of life. Don't be afraid to talk about it with people, because this is also a potential message of this card. You know how, let's say specifically with relationships, like for instance, when you are wildly in love with somebody and you tell all your friends and then something doesn't work out and you kind of expect to hear from them like that typical "I told you so." If this is, for instance, something that you're feeling right now, you're feeling shameful or stupid regarding something, I understand, but this is the type of separating feeling on the one side, where if you don't share with people how you are feeling, you don't give them the opportunity to respond to you and to love you back and to be nice of you. Like, you're forcefully separating yourself from that love. But on the other hand, also, if you go to people and you cry to them about some situation that made you sad in your life, no matter how stupid it might be, even if it's the stupidest thing ever, real friends are not gonna be assholes to you. So this might also be a part of it, to at least see who responds to you the way you want them to and the way they should, like supportive people. So definitely, if this is something you aren't doing in this situation, try to reach out to others. Don't shut yourself off. And I mean, with the Lovers card, let's say, if we are talking about advice strictly in the spiritual sense, then I would say that again, the message for you will be to use open communication, honesty with other people, like put your feelings out there, put your values out there, put your opinions, experiences, and whatever out there, because this is the only way to truly connect with people. And as not an advice card, just as a general card, I would say that it is very likely that once you start moving out of this unpleasant, yucky situation, there will be someone else coming into your life, because we got both like the Lovers card as well as the Knight of Cups card, which is a card of romance and a potential romantic interest entering. But even if it's not that, it is at least the energy of you finding harmony, finding a creative spark in life, finding like the beauty in life, even that type of thing. But this will happen through other people. Like, we can't be alone and truly happy. Maybe this doesn't sound good, but I hope you get what I mean. And with the Ten of Pentacles, like the Ten of Pentacles is again an accomplishment card, a success card. It is specifically speaking about material success, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are gonna make a lot of money or something like that. Just that in your grounded life, you would feel calm, like you would feel that you are where you need to be. You would be feeling wealthy as a person, like you would be feeling the security within yourself, so to say. And I would say that the Ten of Pentacles also reinforces the idea of community, because the card shows like basically a happy family that are enjoying all the fruits of their labor, this type of thing. So Pile 2, your situation might seem really stressful, but if it's gonna make you feel any better, like I said at the beginning, we are doing a reading of what's this minor thing happening in your life. So no matter how shitty it is feeling right now, it is just a little cloud in the sky. It's gonna pass and things are gonna get moving again. They're gonna get better. You just have to embrace the suck for a little while. Okay, Pile 2, I hope that this was helpful and that it made sense. Okay, Pile 3, with this flower guy over here, or horn guy potentially, whichever you prefer. I am gonna throw something out there, and if you don't relate to it, then delete it from your mind. It's fine. It doesn't have to be about this. But it's really interesting because your pile got a lot of dramatic change cards. So it is possible that you guys are going through the most dramatic change, but also drama is a part of our mind's lies. So there might be also a part of this where you are over dramatizing, because at the end of the day, we are doing a reading on something that seems to be a bigger deal than it is. And potentially what it might be for you guys, it might have something to do with pregnancy. But if it doesn't have, then ignore that part. And if it does have, then maybe this is exactly what the cards are talking about. Okay, now let's get into the individual energies. The thing is, with all of those change cards coming from you for you, we have the Six of Swords, which is transitioning, leaving back like some kind of baggage, leaving back some kind of not working situation, even if it was pleasant at the time, and moving towards something better. But of course, to get to that something better, you have to go out and at open sea. It has to be a little bit scary. You have to see a couple of waves. You need to feel the fear of maybe drowning, like that type of thing. We also got the Chariot card, which is a speed card. It is also the card of being in control of something, but it is also the feeling of getting in a car and two wild horses pulling that car, and you are asking yourself, oh, what the hell did I get into? Where am I going? This is happening too fast. It is a card of fast change. And we also got, amazing, we have the Death card, the Devil card, and also the Tower. So again, pile 3. There will be some kind of inevitable change for you guys, and this is what's stressing you out. Of course, it makes sense. Change is stressful no matter how small it is, and especially if it is something this big and profound in your life with the so many like major arcana tarot cards. I definitely this will be a profound change, like comfortable or uncomfortable, short or long happening, and doesn't matter, but it's gonna lead to a profound change in you, at the very least in your psyche, but also potentially in your material world, so to say. So with both aces, with the Ace of Cups on the low end and with the Ace of Swords, we have some kind of new beginning. And it seems that this new beginning is happening, like I said, faster than you potentially felt ready for. This is where also this feeling of transition, of change, of moving from one thing to another is stemming from. And also potentially the little bit of like, not contemplation, hesitation. The little part of hesitation that's coming from it. And fear. There also seems to be with you also I think this card also came in pile 1, I'm not sure. But there is this feeling of thinking back on simpler times. Like as we always do when our mind is stressed, it either goes to the imaginative future, which still hasn't happened, so it finds a way to not go insane, or it goes back to the good old days and the past. And also the Six of the Six of Cups is also kind of a pregnancy card. This is why I also mentioned this at the beginning as a possibility for you guys, because this is a huge change for a person. But like I said, at the very least, if it's not that, it has to do with revisiting some kind of fond memories. Now, I would not say that this is necessarily negative for you, because at the very least the card came up in the upright position, so it seems just like the little bit of sanity you need in order to go through this profound change. With the Death card, with the Devil reversed card, with the Tower card, the message is more or less straightforward. With the Death, there will be some kind of profound change. There will be some kind of transformation and transition to something new. And again, I feel like this is something that's gonna happen fast for you guys, or at the very least, it's gonna feel fast. Because with the Tower card in the upright, this is again fast change. Like not fast even, but sudden. Like the type of sudden change, again, like why I think it's so fitting for pregnancy, because today everything is normal and then tomorrow you find out you're pregnant, for instance, and then everything changes in a snap, like in 5 minutes of peeing on a stick or something like that. This change for you also feels it has this energy. And there might be chaos surrounding it, because the idea generally, like the Tower speaks about something being built on unstable foundations. Or it could be breaking free from something, from some kind of chain, from some kind of way of thinking. But whatever exactly it is, it's just something unexpected and sudden, and something that brings chaos, like every huge change does in our life. And with the devil, I would say probably the positive thing is that it came up in the reversed position. I very much think that you are pretty ready to handle this change to the best of your ability, to handle it productively, because with the reversed devil, it speaks about releasing some type of negativity, detaching from something negative, detaching from, it could be some kind of destructive way of thinking, it could be also from some kind of addiction. I would say potentially the negative side that can come up with the reverse devil is that you might feel the need to hide your deepest thoughts from something, for something from other people. Like you might be afraid to share something that's on your mind because you are feeling that it is, for instance, something that other people won't understand, or it is something too dark. So again, because this is just the example that's primarily in my mind at the moment, like with pregnancy, you might be afraid to share with people that you didn't really want to get pregnant at that point, for instance, that you hadn't planned it, or that you are afraid of this and this happening. Like whatever it is, there is some kind of darkness you are hiding. I would say take the advice from the sexy devil man that's putting his hand forward to reach out to somebody. I know it can be scary, and when we have some kind of darkness within ourselves that we are afraid is gonna get rejected by other people, of course we don't want to put ourselves in the situation of feeling that pain, of feeling that rejection. But the only true way of connecting, this is something I think I said also in Pile 2, the only true way of connecting is putting yourself out there. And this is also the way you're gonna find out who is there for you truthfully and who is not. And truthfully, I don't even mean that people are necessarily trying to be fake, but they're just people who exist on different thresholds. And from certain people, you can just get so much. And it is better to know upfront, or to find out somewhere down the line who you can truly count on and who is just a type of person who would play a less important role in your life. That type of thing. I hope that this was helpful. Okay, I want to see, let's pull all of these cards back together again. And I want to see what is something pile 3, sorry, that you are not seeing in this situation specifically. Pile 3, what I feel like you are not seeing in this situation, that you are somehow self-stifling yourself and breaking your own heart in a way. It could be potentially something to do with a perfectionistic streak you have, or wanting to do something in a really particular way, because this is one of the cards that always gives me like a Capricorn energy in the reversed position. It's like an unpleasant Capricorn, complainy, stuck in their way, not willing to change their mind, stuck to a routine. I feel like you are stifling the vitality and the positivity within yourself by being too strict in something, like in your way of thinking, in your way of acting. There is something of this sort there. And with the reversed three of swords that we have on the other side of it, there is something about negative self-talk. Like it is a card of basically taking your own heart and breaking it for no good reason. What you are not seeing is that there is something much more positive in this situation. There is inherent optimism in this situation, but you you seem to be pulled away from it because you are focusing on not the right thing. The Star card that came up for you is a super positive card. It is a card of having hope and faith. So I feel like it is very much so that you are just not seeing it at the moment. Like you are not seeing the purpose necessarily behind this change. You are not seeing how it's gonna be possible for you once you are on the other side of this change to regain peace and stability once again. Like you are not seeing this change as a blessing. You need to rediscover some kind of new meaning in this situation, and then it will ease the burden of this stress that you are carrying around. And with the Queen of Wands, there is also something that you are potentially not seeing, is that you need to speak about something, to be bold, to show yourself somehow in this situation. Again, there might be something here about hiding, like with the devil, your innermost thoughts. I would say that this is again asking you to show them. And maybe once you show them, you would get from the outside some kind of feedback that will lend you a new perspective, that will help you start to heal this negative inner self-talk you have, that will help you unstuck yourself from the really particular ways you are doing stuff, and then you would move into this more optimistic star energy. Like this is what this is looking to me as. But let's pull a couple of cards also, like specifically for advice for this situation. Let's see what comes up. Okay, pile 3, lastly, the advice. The advice actually did not exactly want to come out. I had to shuffle a little bit. But I would say, above all else, pile 3, don't try to avert this change as if it's some kind of disaster. The more you embrace it from the inside, the easier it's going to be. Like either way, it is happening. But of course, if you are cooperating, you are just gonna have a much more pleasant time. And a way to do this for you will definitely help to look for other people. I feel like this is a message that I almost always give, more or less. You know, people are a way for us to rethink our position in life, to gather new ideas, to feel loved when we don't need neither advice nor ideas nor anything apart from a shoulder to cry on. Like you can't escape other people, and I feel like through people, through sharing your ideas and your thoughts with people, they will bring you over this edge and help you to the other side. Like on the card, it is helpful to have more feedback than the one coming from our mind, because we can only be so unbiased, you know. And the other thing I would encourage you is to find a way to produce more gratitude for the small things in your life. Like try to enjoy the everyday little beautiful moments. It could be getting yourself a nice breakfast, it could be a beautiful flower, whatever. Just practice, find a way to practice gratitude. Turn to the people around you, they would be a great help in this time. This is the happy family card. This is the card of achievement, of the successful completion of something, and enjoying your life within it. So this change is gonna happen no matter what you do, but those are the things that would help you go over it more smoothly. And again, to reiterate, pile 3, like we said at the beginning, no matter how dramatic this is feeling right now, it's just a minor thing and you just have to leave it. to the higher powers who have far better foresight, let's say, than us. We can only see this far and we can only work with the information that we have. So if you find the information you have to be stressing you out, maybe turn a little bit of a blind eye to it and go out, enjoy yourself with some friends and family, smell the roses, like things are going to be exactly what they need to be and it's going to be fine. Okay, I hope that this whole ordeal made sense and that it was helpful, and I wish you all the luck.